Your results are a reflection of your words. Words are powerful tools of creation. And in fact, I have a powerful belief that your voice, your words, are the most powerful income creation tool on the planet. Let me prove it to you. Here's the thing. It's not about sitting around and saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire. That's not what it's about. But when you understand the way that words create, you will not take lightly the words that come out of your mouth ever again. Here's a truth bomb that I want to give you for today. Truth bomb number 572. Random number, I know, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Successful entrepreneurs are not fearless. Oh my gosh. Are they not really? They aren't perfect. Another truth bomb. Here's the fact. Fact is, you probably know someone right now whose website is wickety whack. I'm just saying, not trying to be mean. It's the truth. You might even know somebody who you feel is far less capable than you are, who's living the life you desire or killing it in business, doing exactly what you do. Yet here we are, right? So I want to jump into this, but before I do, some of you may not know me. I'm Shameca Tankerson. I'm an Inc. 500 CEO and rapid income mentor to high-performing entrepreneurs and business owners. And I want to welcome you to the holiday slay. This series, again, I'm going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12:30 Pacific time during the month of December, leading all the way up to our cash creation crash course to give you everything that you need to slay your sales during the holiday season and make this your biggest month by far this year. If you want to build massive success fast in your business, it is simple. It's simple. And I know everybody tells you there's an easy button. That's not what I mean. It's simple, not easy. And so today, during today's session, I'm going to share what we do to create rapid results to the tunes of millions of dollars for me and my clients. Okay. I want to share with you one of the things that we focus on. Plus, I'm going to give you some ways to implement this strategy right away in your own business. So this isn't something you're going to have to try to figure out. I'm going to give you 3 things to focus on that will help you implement this right away, and it will change the game. It changed the game. So my company, if you don't know this, has driven millions of dollars in sales over the past few years. In fact, we grew over 1,834%. That's 1,834% in just 3 short years. That's from low 6 figures annually to over 2 million annually in just 36 short months. Yep, we did that. And it's not just me. Here's the thing. My clients are having their biggest sales months and years and days ever as well. You see, there's a lot of people out there that can tout and toot their own horn about their own results, but their clients are not in the game with them. They're the only ones that's winning, and that's not the case in my camp. In fact, during a recent round of my income acceleration program, Play Big, my clients created over $2 million in just 90 days. I'm talking 14 people in just 90 days. So how do we do it? I'm going to share one of the biggest secrets to rapid income acceleration and revenue today. But before I do that, I want to give you an invitation to the Cash Creation Crash Course. I love alliteration. This one always stumps me. I've been saying it for years, so it's easy for me, but it's kind of fun to watch other people say it. And then when I stumble over it, it makes me laugh too. So it's the Cash Creation Crash Course. Over 100 people have already registered for this round that's coming up. It's our end of the year Cash Creation Crash Course because I want to prove to you that you can make money in any season if you so choose. So it's you, me, a full week of intentional focus, daily cash creation action for your business. Each day I train for about 45 minutes. I answer your questions and give you a simple, powerful daily cash creation action to take to create leads and close sales. We do that for 4 days straight. And then I hold you in this container for the rest of the 7 days to go about creating the leads and closing sales with support. To join the Cash Creation Crash Course, just go to letsmakemoresales.com. One of the biggest things that I want to say is this Cash Creation Crash Course is free. Now, it's free, but there is an investment. So here's the deal. I feel good when I do give backs. And I've learned a lot and I've been blessed along the way and people have supported me along the way. And so this is a give back for me. This is a literal course. It's not just a cheapy little high level freebie where you're going to get a bunch of fluff. Literally, people have made $30,000, $50,000, $100,000. Someone hit their goal last year. They wanted to hit $150,000 for the quarter, and they were able to do $156,000 for the quarter using the momentum that we created, using the Cash Creation Crash Course. And so I'm inviting you to join us, but your investment is your 100% all-out commitment to participating all 4 days of the training and the crash course and doing all the actions. That way it feels good for me. It feels good for you. We both have skin in the game and we win. It's a win-win situation and a win-win-win when you bring in clients who you're able to support, right? So go to letsmakemoresales.com to register for the Cash Creation Crash Course and invite a friend to do it with you, because this is one of those things that you don't really want to do alone and in a silo. All right, let's get into this. So one of the biggest lessons that I've learned and keys to creating massive success fast is to not aim for perfection. And I know you're like, duh, Shameca, done is better than perfect. And it's easier said than done, right? There's some ways that we show up. Perfection is just fear. It's masquerading as perfection, right? And perfection can look like a lot of things. It can look like extra planning. It can look like needing to have a well thought out plan and script before you ever go live. It can look like writing and creating a bunch of content, but never ever releasing it. All of that is perfection. Thinking you can't do anything because you don't have your makeup on. All of that is perfection. Comparing yourself to other people. All of that is fear. And it's fear masquerading as perfection. So if we don't need to get things super perfect and have it all looking like $1 million business before we actually are one, what do we focus on? Well, I'm glad you asked. What I do instead of focusing on perfection is I focus on momentum, creating momentum in my business. Think about it. There's 2 ways I want you to think about momentum. One, if you think about a train or a locomotive, something that's going, right? I think it's Newton's law of motion. It is an object in motion stays in motion until it's acted upon by equal and opposite force. And we are usually that force that stops ourselves in business. If you think about the Grand Canyon, right? It's a slow trickle of water that over a millennia has carved out this beautiful canyon that people travel from all over the world to see, to marvel at. And it's powerful, but over time, it was created. It wasn't created in a day or in an hour or from a big boom or something like that. So here's how this looks in business. In the beginning of the year, the beginning of the month for some of you, or the beginning of our businesses, when we just start out, we start with this high momentum. We are excited. We're willing to do whatever it takes. We have a lot of energy. We dig in. And sometimes that digging in exhausts us, and then we pull back, right? We work, we dig in, we watch training videos, we get certifications, we put in the work, we even sacrifice a little bit. And then slowly over time, there's an equilibrium that's found. So whether we get results or not, it doesn't matter. This happens. It's human nature. We start to slow down. No one ever just goes straight up and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It's just natural. It's a natural ebb and flow to life. And for most people, it causes discouragement. So over time, we naturally slow down. And there's a time in business where momentum can get low, or it can feel like a lull, or where your momentum or energy feels very low. It can feel a bit off. Things can get a little fuzzy, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself in these moments, my business doesn't light me up anymore. I'm not seeing the big picture. I don't have the clarity. I don't have the spark. It's getting boring and predictable. I'm hovering over the same income level month over month, year over year. No matter what I do, it's not really working. And the problem is most people, do you guys hear my little jingle bell? The problem is most people quit right here in this spot, like literally quit, either in their heart. You're like, I'm over it. In your consciousness or your subconsciousness, you just decide you're done, right? You don't want to put any more effort in, or you literally throw in the towel and quit. And quit doesn't mean you altogether quit your business. Sometimes the quitting is the changing of things. We start to throw monkey wrenches into things that are actually working in our business. We start tweaking our messaging. We start trying new tactics, investing in new training, hiring new team members. We're just throwing monkey wrenches everywhere, right? We hire team members we don't even need, just hoping that it'll spice things up or get us somewhere that we haven't been before. Changing things that actually are working without even thinking about it. I see this happen over and over and over again. And the list goes on, but I see this one happen quite often where people will get results and they're creating momentum and they don't have results in, let's say, some area over here that they want. So let's say you're creating momentum and you've had like your biggest year ever, but you want to be at $100,000 a month. And instead of you keeping the momentum of what you're doing, you completely stop everything. So I see people, they're doing master classes to bring in clients and they're working. And then they're like, but I'm making, $20,000 a month, or I'm making $50,000 a month, and I want to be making 100 or 200. So I'm going to stop the master classes altogether. I'm going to do this thing over here that everybody else is doing. It's something that I see consistently. And then what ends up happening is you get stalled out and you kick yourself out of the game. Revenue slows down, momentum slows down, and it's almost as if you're starting over. Or you get bored because you have been saying the same thing for a year or for 6 months or for 2 years, and you're like, I think I want to go this direction. I see everybody else talking about this, and you start throwing a monkey wrench into your messaging that is working to bring you clients. Even though it's not the highest level of clients that you want, we know that it's working, right? What you aren't realizing is that if you were to just keep that standard and keep going over time and maybe add to it instead of taking it completely away and focus on the momentum that you're creating, continuing where you are right now will start to compound and work for you again. And you can always add things on top of it. Here's the thing. Most people don't realize that as long as you keep consistently going, consistently posting, consistently doing the things that are actually working to bring you clients, consistently building your audience, one day you'll look up and you'll have the massive results that you desire either again or you'll grow because you're compounding, right? There's a compound effect. Here's what I want you to understand. In the gap of where you are, where you want to be, there's this gap, right? In the gap is where most people quit. In the gap is where courage is required. And if you want to succeed in business, you have to not quit. Momentum is important. So here's your word for today. And my realization that has helped me completely transform my business, because I used to be the person who throws a monkey wrench in things. Momentum, money follows momentum is what I want to tell you. Money follows momentum. Money follows momentum. So your ability to create momentum is incredibly important, and perfection is the enemy of that. So you want to create this momentum so you can have the money. Perfection is the enemy if you want to grow your business. Perfection is the enemy of possibility and profitability. In 3 years' time of consistently moving forward. So let me tell this story really quickly, and then I'll tell you what we were able to create. So in 3 years' time, when I look back, I remember being at an event with my mentor at the time. We're at this event and we're playing this game called the black and red game. I don't know if you've ever played before, but you break up into teams and you just vote. And you vote with your team, and the majority who wins on your team, that's the color you vote. And you just play this game and play this game and play this game and play this game. And it's a game that's meant to teach you that it's not a zero-sum game. There are winners and losers, and it can be a win-win situation. But here's what I learned about myself in playing the game. This game went on for like an hour. And we're all sitting in this room at this event, and I'm like bored out of my mind because I start to realize that I'm in a group of people. It doesn't matter how I vote. So if the majority of people vote, black, I can vote red and my team would still vote black. So I just started voting opposite of everybody just for the heck of it because I was bored, right? And we still ended up with whatever we had. It didn't matter, or so I thought. And so we get to the end of the game and our mentor asked us to give our insight. And I say to him, like, here's what was happening with me. Over a matter of time, I just got bored. And as I got bored, I thought, oh, let me just vote opposite. It gives me something to do while everybody else is boringly going around and voting and arguing on what color they want to vote and all of those things. And he said, interesting. And he looked at me and he said, do you do that in your business? Like, you get bored and you just start throwing a monkey wrench in things. And I was like, oh, shoot, I do. I get bored of saying the same thing. I get bored of the same old messaging. And then I just change it up. I'll make a new offer. I'll change my messaging. I'll just do something, even though what I was doing was working and got me sales. Mostly it happens because we're not where we want to be. So even though I was getting sales, it wasn't the number of sales that I wanted. And so I thought, okay, let me just change things up. This isn't working how I wanted to. I wanted to feel amazing and incredible. And he challenged me that year. And this was like I want to say it was like 2014, maybe 2015. Let's say 2014 or 2015. He challenged me to not change anything in my business for an entire year. Now, at first it was a big, like, you want me to do what? Like, what I'm doing right now, just keep doing it for a year. Everything that I'm doing, don't change anything. And so I agreed to it. That year, I had been trying for 4 or 5 years to get my business back to 6 figures and hadn't been able to do it. That year, I crossed 6 figures for the first time. What I currently sell today, even though we've tweaked 2 millimeters here or there, a little bit in the offers, is the same thing that I was selling back then. Now, I want to go back to the 3-year mark, right? So 2015, we crossed 6 figures for the first time again, I think in 2016. Here's what I want to share with you. In 3 years' time of consistently moving forward and valuing momentum over perfection, right? Just focusing on momentum, not how it felt in my business, not is this the perfect way to build it. We went from low 6 figures, under $200,000 a year, to multiple $1 million a year business, and number 310 on the Inc. 5000 list. That's the top 6% of the fastest growing companies in the United States. My first 100K month was in 2018. 2 years after that, right? It takes $83,333 to cross $1 million. You have to do that every month. My first 6-figure month, my first 100K month was in 2018. 2 years later, we crossed $1 million in revenue for the first time. Remember, in 2014, 2015, I was struggling to make my first 6 figures. In hindsight, that's a very short amount of time, 2 years, right? And so one of the things I'm going to be breaking down inside of the Cash Creation Crash Course is giving you the mindset and the strategies that allowed me to be able to collapse time and create revenue faster and faster and faster. One of the things that I believe is that 6 figures, 100K or more, but 6 figures is the building blocks to your $1 million business. When you can master creating that first 6 figures in any amount of time, it's just a matter of speeding up how fast you create money. So I tell people, you don't need to make more money. You just need to learn how to create money faster. So I'm going to be sharing with you what to focus on mindset-wise, strategically, in order to create money fast in your business. And how simple it is going to blow your mind. So if you want to join us for that, make sure you go to letsmakemoresales.com. We kick it off December 26th. Here's what successful entrepreneurs have learned how to do in order to be able to focus on creating momentum. Because fear is actually what stops us from avoiding trying to create this illusion of perfection. I see it all the time. People turn on their camera for live streams and they turn into talking bobbleheads because there's an illusion or a thought of what professionalism looks like. I see it all the time when people walk into a room because they think, oh, this is where the $1 million business owners are. And they have this belief of what a $1 million business owner looks like, this illusion of perfection. That's why I loved Game On Live and my Millionaire Friends panel, because I let my friends sit next to the people who were attending events, some of y'all, for 2 days. before I let you know who they were and what they were about. And you didn't know. And they were taking notes and doing all the exercises. And they were the ones who were at billions and millions. We had 7, 8, and 9-figure people sitting right next to you. And some of you who weren't at 6 figures or just at barely at multiple 6 figures thought you were too good for the content that was being created because of the illusion of perfection that you have in your mind. And that illusion of perfection, of what you think it's supposed to look like in order for people to buy from you, is what stops you from putting your stuff out there in a way that you're so aligned with it and certain about it that people buy. It stops you from being consistent and creating the momentum because you think it's supposed to look like this or look like that. It gets to look like whatever it looks like today. When it's time for it to look different, it will. Are you with me? All right. So that's what we're going to handle today. What I want you to understand is successful entrepreneurs have learned how to become uncomfortable with these feelings like fear, judgment. What if I get it wrong? What if I put this out there and nobody buys? If I say 5 people raise your hand and no one comments, right? Inadequacy. Do I really measure up? Can I really do this? And I will tell you, anybody, when the fraud factor just doesn't exist for people who are actual frauds. It only exists for people. It's actually a scientific phenomenon called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect makes people who are really good at what they do feel like they're not great at it, because the assumption is because it comes so easy for them, they assume it's so easy for everybody else as well. And so they assume that they're behind the curve. On the flip side of that, which is why you see people who are maybe less competent than you over earning in this space, in your market space, in your industry, or not over earning, but outperforming you, right? They're earning more than you, charging more than you, they have more clients than you. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It makes, on the opposite effect, makes people who have less skills, because they don't have enough knowledge to even realize that they are incompetent, just show up as if they know everything and that they're winning and that they're the top tier and the best in the game and all of those things. And so it's working on both ends of the spectrum. So these feelings of inadequacy that come up for people who are competent like you stops you from putting your stuff out there. And when you become successful, you learn how to deal with those feelings and move through them anyway, right? You learn how to become uncomfortable with feelings like, what if I get it wrong? Right? The fear of maybe failing at it or not getting it right. And you take the action anyway. So that's what I want to handle for you today. I want to show you how to activate this secret power move of momentum for your biggest sales months ever. This is what I hold my clients through. Like, people think, oh, I'm going to come to Shameca for strategy. Yeah, you will. We will give you strategy. But the reality is it's this stuff, this undercurrent that's happening underneath, that actually keeps you from blowing the roof off of it, because you're badass at what you do. You are incredibly gifted. You know your stuff. Like, I work with people who are leaders of leaders and experts at what they do. And yet most are under earning. Most are undercharging. Most are not accomplishing anywhere near what they know they're capable of, because it's this stuff. And this is where I get to shine a light and say, hey, here's how you're showing up. Let's feel the fear, do it anyway, and take this bold action, right? So I want to give you 3 things to activate this right now. 3 strategies to get off the perfection freight train that you're on, and what you want to focus on instead of perfection. Remember, perfection masquerades as many things. So you can smash every single goal that you have. I want you to finish this year strong, but I also want you to smash your 2024 goals. I'm so over people saying they want to have $1 million year every year. It's the dumbest thing ever. Until you put new information and new behavior in, you're not going to do $1 million in a year. You're not going to do anything different than you did before. That's why you keep bumping your head up against the same income ceiling. Okay? 3 things. Ready for number 1? First one, you need to put on your enough crown. Put on your enough crown. First things first, you are enough. And the moment you realize it is when the magic begins in your business. I'm going to say that again. And I don't want you to go, oh, I know this. I need you to let it sink in, because here's what I know. Whenever we hear something again, whenever something comes into our awareness, it is a requirement for us to move forward. We need it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hearing it. It wouldn't be here. So I always ask myself, am I hearing something again? Or I'm hearing something I think is like, duh, how do I need to implement this? What are the results that are showing up in my life? How can I get better at this? Right? I want to say this again. You are enough. You are enough. And the moment you realize it, that's when the magic begins in your business. You're not stuck at your current level because you're not smart enough. You're not stuck at your current level because you're not good enough. You're not stuck at your current level because you're not skinny enough or pretty enough or known enough or certified enough or because you're not ready. It's likely because you aren't taking those big, bold, courageous actions that will lead to the greatest results. And one of the biggest, boldest, courageous actions that I know for people who are extreme experts at what they do, who are under earning or even undercharging, one of the biggest things is that you're supposed to be serving people at a much higher level than you're serving, but it scares you. Here's a statement that I gave to myself that changed the game for me. Like I said, I'm a leader of leaders. I get that now. And I'm even being called forward to lead at a higher level now. And that fear is welling up again. I've got to put my enoughness crown on. I am enough for who needs me next. See, I don't have to be enough for who needs me when I have a $30 million a year business. Right now, I'm enough for the person who needs me next. Who I be, how I show up, how I move, what I say, what I teach, how it flows through me is enough for who needs me next. Write that down. Post it all around your office. Make it a mantra for this year. I'm enough for who needs me next. How I write, what I post, what I say, it's enough for who needs you next. Next one. Heed the power of your words. I know, we know our life follows our words. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Affirmations, all of that stuff. But I want you to listen. Same as before. If you're hearing it again, we need it for this next level. Your words have power. All words are insanely powerful. It's funny. People take this to the crazy extreme. So earlier this year, I said I lost 50 pounds or 38 pounds at the time. I'm almost 50 pounds down now. I lost 38 pounds and someone comes in my comments and they're like, you didn't lose it. If you lose it, that means you're going to find it again, and all of these things. Here's the thing about words. Words are insanely powerful, but they only have the power that we give them. It's my understanding of the word fat or skinny or lose or gain or release, right? If it doesn't mean anything to me, it has no meaning. So yes, words are insanely powerful and your words are insanely powerful. The meaning that you give to the words that you use are insanely powerful. Your life does follow your words. Your results are a reflection of your words. Words are powerful tools of creation. And in fact, I have a powerful belief that your voice, your words, are the most powerful income creation tool on the planet. Let me prove it to you. Here's the thing. It's not about sitting around and saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire. That's not what it's about. But when you understand the way that words create, you will not take lightly the words that come out of your mouth ever again. So scientists have studied atoms, and everything in the world is made up of atoms. Everything. You, me, the air, there's atoms bouncing around everywhere. When they get to the very nucleus, when there's only one particle left, the last piece of an atom, what they found was a sound wave. Sound wave. Sound wave. Now, I'm going to go a little bit biblical because it's just who I am. You can stay scientific if you want, completely up to you. But if the word of God tells me that God spoke the world into existence and I am made in God's image, then I have the power to do the same. Everything you say, every word that proceeds out of your mouth is going before you to create what's coming next. Guard your tongue. Use it as a powerful income creation tool and not as a weapon or the enemy to your own success and desires that you desire to create. Never things out of my mouth like none of my clients have money. You'll never hear that. Only the affirmation of what I desire to create. Your words can be powerfully dangerous or powerfully positive. Watch what you say to yourself about yourself. See, we think other people talking about us is the enemy, but the enemy is usually on the inside of us. Pay more attention to what you whisper to yourself than what you believe other people are saying about you in public. Actually, pay more attention to what you are whispering to yourself in private, in those secret moments. Because when we're in public, we all that. But when we're alone, that's when we're beating ourselves down. You got to squash that inner critic that keeps you playing way too small, sitting on the sidelines and stuck on the wheel of perfection. During this next year and during these next few days moving forward, from this moment forward, my desire is that you be very aware of how your words, how the words, what if, show up in your life, right? How you use your words. Here's the thing. I've learned to have a totally different relationship with my inner critic. The little girl inside of me who remembers all the setbacks, failures, disappointments, and things that I've been through. She comes back and says, remember that time this happened when we decided to play big and we wanted to talk a lot and people said, be quiet, let somebody else have a turn. Remember that time when you wanted to be the one in the class who raised your hand all the time and they said, put your hands down. I know you know the answer. Let's give other people a chance. Remember that time. Remember that time. Remember that time when you wanted to go all out big in your business and nobody bought your offer. So instead of focusing on feeding her with the illusion of perfection, let's get it real, real right so everybody will like it. I have to trust that I have everything I need for my next step. Yes? Third and final point for today. You must recognize that comparison is a thief. You must own the knowledge that comparison is a thief, because we might recognize it, we see it, we have it in head knowledge, but yet we still compare. If you just own your own gifts, your talents, your superpowers, and put them out there, just like they are, they don't have to look like anybody else's, right? I know that if I thought I needed to look like all the people that I was looking at around me who had created multiple $1-million businesses, I wouldn't have one, because that's what kept it at bay for me for a long time. I thought it needed to look a certain way. Here's the thing. It doesn't really matter what anybody else is doing. Do you? Because here's the thing. Most of y'all put way too much pressure on yourself. If you're following me, I know you are an overachieving high achiever. I know this about you. You're not just somebody who coasts. I mean, you coast, but you're coasting. Your level 5 is most people's level 2. Well, your level 2 is most people's level 5. Like, you can do the bare minimum and it looks incredible and amazing. It's just who you be. So I'm on this kick, like, just be ordinary. Why you got to put so much pressure to be extraordinary? Even though that is you, what you know right now is that you're not accomplishing anywhere near what you're capable of. Yet everyone around you believes that you're killing it. Guess what? I want to tell you this. You are killing it. See, it's the voice inside of yourself that tells you that you're not. You are. And it's time that you own it and give yourself credit for how far you've come. Stop the comparison, lessen the need for perfection, and just be your plain old ordinary self, which is most people's extraordinary anyway. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to say this one last time. You want to start creating momentum. And momentum means ditching all these thought processes that I just talked about so that you can show up fully in your own power and start taking the big, bold actions that you desire. Stay in momentum. That is your job as an entrepreneur. Money follows momentum. Inside of the Cash Creation Crash Course, you're going to be working with me for a full week. I'm going to show you the smartest ways I know how to do this, how to get in momentum, how to stay focused on the simple things, because we think we got to do like pop in circumstance and all of this stuff because it needs to be great and look great. That's the perfection that I'm talking about. And because of this, it slows you down and you're not able to create momentum. It takes you so much time to even launch a thing or start a thing because you're working on it and tweaking it because it's got to be great. And again, your level 2 is greatness for most people. You would knock it out of the park just like you are. So I want you to finish the year strong, and I want to show you how to do this and smash every goal for 2024. If you want to join me for the Cash Creation Crash Course, go to letsmakemoresales.com. I promise you, you do not want to miss this. We start December 26th. We go for 4 days, December 26th through December 29th. And then again, I'm holding you. I'm keeping the container open. Questions, feedback, some additional training to support you in closing those sales, moving into the new year, creating leads, creating clients. I'm excited about our next session because I'm going to show you how to completely own your 2024. It's one thing to say, these are the goals and the revenues that I want to hit, but how do you do it, right? I have learned how to get my whole self in alignment with when I say I'm going to do something, it just happens. The goals I set, I smash every time. So I want to show you Wednesday, this next episode, how to completely own your 2024. I hope that you got something out of today. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Have an incredible day. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment, like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously.